when Canute got shot and they got him on the deck and they had to cut his clothes off to get the bolt out. You still didn't know at this point he was a body double. Mm-hmm. And then you finally saw that he had breasts and knew he was a woman. In my head, I
knew he was a girl. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Layman's Review. And today we are bringing you the last episode of our Vinland Saga series, episodes 21 through 24.
What a sad day. And I'll say just to begin, I think it wrapped it up nicely.
I thought it did a fantastic job.
The first four to the last four, I thought
a
lot happened in between.
When you watched the first four episodes, you got the impression that that was the prologue, right?
I think so, because it told a story and then ended a story, to me.
Exactly. No, it did. That's what I felt too.
Right.
And then at the end of 24 episodes, we find out that this season is the prologue to Vinland Saga.
Which blew my mind, because what a prologue. I guess, all prologues are good, but now I'm excited to see what comes after that. If that was just the start of it all, my God, what could it become?
I think so. Where did we leave off? They were in the city. There's the king was...
the king was coming to
Canute.
Canute was coming to town. When Canute got shot and they got him on the deck and they had to cut his clothes off to get the bolt out. You still didn't know at this point he was a body double. Mm-hmm. And then you finally saw that he had breasts and knew he was a woman. In my head, I knew he was a girl. I was so relieved.
Yeah.
I was like, that explains everything now. Everything was clear. And then the real Canute showed up.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But they found a nice slave girl that looked exactly like him, and he asked why it had to be a girl.
So none of my men looked like you.
Yeah, no slave man that they could find.
All mine are these dusty, war tattered,
but definitely
broken men.
Got me. I was good. After that. I thought that was a neat little trick.
The conversation with the king and Askeladd at the end, I was literally at the edge of my seat. Usually, if it's an action scene or something like that, you think that you're going to be at the edge of your seat. All they were doing was two men talking, and I literally was like the best.
Because it was about whales.
Yeah.
And apparently, you come to find out that Askeladd had such a more love for whales, and
it's his mom's land.
Yeah, and I guess that was the one thing he actually cared about. When, what was it, 8 episodes ago now, when he was walking on the beach, up the beach with her body to her homeland, and I guess that's where he really fell in love with it, in the people, and they probably treated him fairly well. He's royalty in that land, and he's history. So that's why, I guess he was willing to, and he had the choice of Canute or whales.
I thought the scene where the king made a priority of going to show an example out of whales because they showed disrespect, and the camera panned to Askeladd,
sweating and tense.
It was pretty good. It was about as good as something like Death Note gets, with the mental back and forth between the two main characters. It was fantastic.
It opened up that Askeladd was we knew he was a thinker and a plotter, but it showed it because when it dimmed down, that was his brain. Mm-hmm. How he was calculating everything, the king's going to say this, sat proud because he won. Then the king also being a thinker, because what else could he be? That's when it's oh man, it's like a chess game. The king just did something, and he's like, all right, so now Askeladd had to make the choice to make another choice that affected it, because plan 1 didn't work, and his brain's pulsing, and
he literally decided in that moment, I'm going to save whales and I'm going to save Canute, and it just means I have to die now.
And off with his head.
And man, everything about that last episode, I really liked when Thorfinn saw that he died, and he realized that his entire life to this point has been wasted. You see him break.
I thought it was, there's my other father. On the ground.
Oh yeah, when he held him, mm-hmm. You could tell that the same feelings he had for Thor's he was feeling again, and he didn't even know how to feel about that.
I mean, I didn't either, because you wanted Thorfinn to kill Askeladd the whole time,
mm-hmm.
And then you get to the point where he's finally going to die, and you've been wanting that since the beginning.
But he didn't put him there.
Right, that, and since he took Thor's out of our loving hands, you wanted to see him dead, but by the end I didn't.
I wanted Askeladd to die?
Not one bit, because you know what? Like I said before, he's definitely one of those people that are out for himself, but not really.
No, he was out for whales.
Whales, which is a whole population, but he also did care about Thorfinn. He did show that he put some effort towards Canute, and when Bjorn he mercy killed him,
Now, going back to the first episode, the first 4 episodes when Thor's died, when Askeladd asked Thor's, would you lead us?
Right.
He meant every word of what
until
he
he
said to him.
didn't say, "Oh, yep, I will."
So the show goes great lengths to make you understand that Askeladd can read a man's face. He knows exactly
mentioned
everything
that.
you're
Oh my
about,
God.
and he said it several times. He saw Thor's face and knew that's the guy I want to follow. And Askeladd went 10 years in between seeing people's faces, somebody's face that fits that description. It was Thor's, and then it was Canute, and it was after Canute had his awakening again with the monologue with the priest about love and what it meant to true love.
How to become a king in 10 minutes.
And
Brought to you by the drunk priest down the
street.
street.
And they made you believe it too.
And you know what? By the end, I was like, all right, kings to me are never meant to. They don't go on the battlefield anymore. They were either, has-beens, or they were just raised royalty and they never got there. And that's what Canute was screaming. He was raised royalty, but he wasn't. He was raised by a farmer.
He had no life experience.
He had nothing. Like he wasn't raised in that royal setting, and he just stepped after he had that come to Jesus moment. I'll say, realizing that religion isn't everything. It's his job to make that land what he wanted it to be.
And I love the fact that there were so many parallels drawn between Thorfinn and Askeladd. They might have been fighting for different things, so it's an apples to oranges type of thing, but Askeladd fought as hard for what he wanted as Thorfinn did for the revenge against Thor's.
Absolutely.
So this whole time, all these years, Askeladd wanted to do what he did at the end. He didn't want to die, but in the last second, he realized there was only one way to get what victory was in his mind, which is he has to die to save Wales and Canute. Before the king said anything about Wales,
Right.
It was done. Askeladd won.
Yeah.
And then he poked at Wales, and I think it was because Floki told something to
He's the only one that saw his face, because Askeladd was like, no one saw that. Nobody saw that. Oh, no, they did.
They did.
And then it's, so Askeladd sacrificing himself for the greater good of both Wales and Canute. Then you had Thor Kill actually do something to better Canute as well.
I saw that.
Because
it was important.
Canute asked Thor Kill to kill Askeladd because he was going to, and he said, nope, this isn't my dog, it's yours, you have to do it. And he sat back down, and what was the killing blow to Askeladd was Canute taking care of it.
And I actually thought the thing he did after that was probably even more impressive, which was when Canute was starting to fall back after he realized what he did to Askeladd.
Oh my God!
He stood right behind him. He said, "Now this is where you need to make sure you're standing tall and make sure that you meant it, and or at least make these people convince these people that you meant what you just did."
That level of, I don't know. You never thought Thor Kill would have that level of thought. Like you didn't think he was just a warring brute, and then all of a sudden he knows what it's like to be a king. He doesn't want to be one, or never strive to be, or never had that chance. But here's a guy that he followed and believed in and wasn't going to let him falter. And that's truly what you want from, your right-hand man, your bodyguard, whatever's there. He's got him. And who better to have than Thor Kill at your side as your weapon? And I thought that was a good way to wrap that up. And
poor Leif.
Yeah, but his 10-year, 11-year journey is done.
No,
Found him.
He has, but he was supposed to bring him back home.
That
it was a
wasn't gonna
twofold.
happen.
It was supposed to bring him back home.
Because he lost Thorfinn, but then he never found that Thorfinn that he lost on that day.
I think he was taken aback a little bit by the amount of shit that came Thorfinn's way these 10 years.
And it made him a different person. Like, he didn't care about his mother, he didn't care about his sister, didn't care about Leif, didn't care about his village. That was it.
It was revenge.
But he had a whole nother life made. It wasn't like he wasn't that Thorfinn, like I said, like he was a child then, and now he
still is.
In that day and age, almost a man.
That's true. 17 back then is pretty much a man.
Right. Well, Thor Kill's 50, looking great, but it's not everybody's going to be like that, because even Askeladd was aging, and he was probably in his 40s, maybe early 50s.
They might have mentioned it, actually. I don't remember.
And you just had that, like, he was a different person, and Leif was coming up empty-handed, and
I'll say this, I don't think the storyline between Leif and Thorfinn's over.
I hope not.
And I don't think Leif will feel as though that his mission has been accomplished until he brings him home to his mother and his sister.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
I think it will.
Do you think in the next season are we going to Vinland?
I think the next season we're going to get into the broken mental state of Thorfinn. That's it.
Okay. Like him repairing after
Well, he's
Thor's
broken.
and repairing after Askeladd and becoming,
Did you see him? Did you hear the last thing? All he did was scream.
well, like he did when Thor
And
died.
his mission's over.
Yeah.
So where is Thor mentally?
not by his
Where is
hand.
he going to go next? And where is the story going to take him? That's what's going to be. And
Yeah.
I think Leaf's going to be a part of that, actually. Yeah.
Definitely. Or, you know, at the end, at that last episode, you definitely got an opening to 3 new stories. Don't know who they are.
Yeah.
You could only take a guess, but like there are potential 3 storylines that you could follow, all from different parts of the world.
And guys,
So-
that's the end of Vinland Saga.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was amazing. We're going to come back and tell you what we thought about the show in its entirety and give it a layman's review in the next video.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments below how you liked Vinland Saga. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've already seen the show. I can't wait till
Something out there
season 2.
that's like it. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, if you got any suggestions on shows we should review in the future, drop those in the comments below as well, and then we'll see you for the review of Vinland Saga. See ya.